All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, from Western New York to the shadows of the Big Apple in Northern New Jersey, that will be the trek for Joe Schoen as he is set to become the new general manager of the New York Football Giants. Now, Scone will be he will be the eighth general manager in the history of the Giants as he comes to New York fresh off of spending the last 5 years as the assistant general manager of the Buffalo Bills. Now, Schoen's tenure in Buffalo helped turn around the Bills as they made the playoffs in 4 out of the last 5 years after missing the postseason in the previous 17 years. Now, Schoen will have his work cut out for him in New York with the Giants as he takes over a franchise that has really been down on his luck. Now, since winning Super Bowl 46, the Giants have only had two winning seasons to their credit, while they've only made the postseason once. The Giants have also lost at least 10 games in 7 out of the last 8 seasons, which includes the last five. Now, Schoen is reportedly going to get carte blanche from ownership to do whatever he wants to do in regards to changing the culture of the franchise as well as the roster. The Giants are in salary cap purgatory, but they do own a litany of picks early on in the upcoming NFL draft. Schoen is a big analytics guy. And honestly, from what you're hearing, everybody in Buffalo around that organization loved him. Now, he first and foremost, what he's got to do, he's got to hire him a head coach. And we're hearing that Brian Dable, who is currently an assistant coach with the Buffalo Bills, is the favorite. We're also hearing about Brian Flores, the former Miami Dolphins head coach, along with Dan Quinn, the current defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Or will it be somebody else? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, first and foremost, like I've said before, whoever is hired as the head coach, along with this general manager, they have to make a decision on current Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. Or do they want to give him one more year to see what he can do? Or are they ready to cut bait and start over and bring in their type of guy to run their system? We'll have to wait and see. Will the Maras stay out of the way and let Schoen do his job? That's going to be important too, because we've heard the stories about some of the Maras working behind the scenes, and maybe they're not doing the quote unquote wrong things, trying to sabotage things. But bottom line is the nepotism can go a long way as far as negatively hurting your organization, and we've seen it in recent years with the Giants. Honestly, for New York, it can't get that much worse than it already is already. I mean, we saw the paper bags come out at MetLife Stadium this past season, while the Boo Birds, while were there every single time that John Mara, the Giants co-owner, made a public appearance. So you look at it right now, maybe if you're the Giants, you feel like, okay, we've reached the floor and now we could finally build back upwards. We'll have to wait and see on that. Now, it's going to be year one for Schoen and his regime. But honestly, this upcoming draft is going to be a make or break in regards to his legacy for the Giants. And I say that because New York has so much draft capital in their possession. And when you have that, you've got to go out there and make the most of this opportunity. The Giants are picking fifth and seventh in the first round of this draft. We know about the issues that the Giants have had on the offensive side of the football, starting with their offensive line. This is an opportunity for them to potentially fix that. The Giants have multiple picks in the third, multiple picks in the fourth round as well. So this is an opportunity for them to get ahead of the grain. And when you build a team, obviously it starts in the trenches, your O line and your D line. So we're going to see what New York is able to do. And if they're unable to do something, it's really going to set this franchise back for several more years. Like I said before, is Daniel Jones your guy at quarterback? Is this new regime going to come in and say, hey, you know what? Let's give this guy a shot. because you know what? He hasn't played behind a good offensive line. He's had multiple offensive coordinators, and he deserves that. Or are they just going to go in a different direction? Honestly, with me, like I've said before, you could slice it any way that you want to. Daniel Jones is not a NFL starting quarterback. He's 12 and 25. He can't stay healthy. And when you put those two things together, I personally think that it's time for the Giants to go in a different direction here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens for the Giants going forward. They stayed in the AFC East to find somebody else to work for them. Of course, their last head coach was Joe Judge, former Patriots assistant. This time around, it's probably going to be another former AFC East coach. I think it's either Brian Dable or Brian Flores. And from what you're hearing, Brian Dable is the favorite due to the fact that he has worked so closely with Joe Schoen. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here for the Giants. From what everybody is saying, they got the right guy. So only time will tell for that. I don't think the Giants are a quick fix. So if anybody thinks that this team is going to be ready to contend for a playoff spot in 2022, think again. Obviously, there's a long time between now and September. A lot can happen. But nonetheless, the Giants have to start over from scratch. So when you're starting over from scratch, you know it's a work in progress. So let's see what the Giants can do. They feel like they got their guy, and now time will tell if the Giants can once again return to respectability. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.